Purgatory. There's nothing me. Forget. Amen. Take a look. There's no. What have you done? What have you been done? My own hell. You're looking at me. No. Waiting for the final word. Every time I find your way. In my heart, no cry. One night. Forever I am here, waiting to die. Trapped in my own purgatory.
I like this. This is Winterborn, New Zealand band. It's I thought I might hate it when I was looking at it, but like because it's got that doom feel to it.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It's not really.
Guttural.
Yeah, it's not that doom metal, right? It's got that heavy bass, but it's not that
like,
it doesn't feel like making you depressed.
Right. It's like that stoner doom metal that they're going out with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been around for a while, since the 90s, the stoner grunge kind of, stoner grunge, that's what they called it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that sort of style, and I like that sound. I think it's really cool. So if you guys want to check it out, that was Winterborn, a New Zealand metal band from here, New Zealand, at the bottom of the North Island. I'm on like the top of the North Island, kind of like quarter high. So yeah, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Let me plug your site first. Now, can you send me that in the link so I can find it right away in the private chat? So thank you guys for joining us today. This is kind of like a last minute, kind of like I only set this up with Art about 90 minutes ago to be a guest on here because he's wants to do some fan art, and I'm quite looking forward to that because I love his work. And I'm not going to be not going to say I'm biased or anything, but I am. I mean, like, not just straight up. He's got good stuff, and I love his work, and I think that's really cool. And without asking, he went and bought a book, and decided that wants to do some fan art for us. So do check out his. I'm going to put that link here. It is artvictim.net. And before we get into this, so you guys can actually check him out later. And he's also got a link tree and it's Art Victim as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how you going, Bert? And that thing is on the way. Go away. There we go.
Yep, my spam.
Yeah, but it's good. I mean, it's getting you some, hits.
Yeah, well, and that's the way to get into my newsletter. I don't do a lot with my newsletter, but I plan to, and that's a marketing way, right? Keep your
you gotta pay your bills, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and it's a way, if you get canceled from one of your social medias, then you have your email list at least.
Exactly. You've got your friends still in check. So Nugget here is from Wellington, which I just played the song off from, where he's from, which was Winterborn. I wonder if you've ever seen them live, Nugget.
He's got a neat pug. I love pugs. On his avatar circle there.
There you go. There's a link. I just missed it there. I was trying to find out where it was. It was behind my webcam. So, and this is the Linktree link as well. You can check out his work. And
thank you.
That way, support him by buying some work. And it'll be cool if you guys can do that as well. I mean, there's so much stuff there, especially if you're overseas, right? In America, especially if you're in America.
Yeah.
Post is going to be cheap, man. So why not, There's some amazing stuff there.
Yeah, shipping over to you guys might break me, but Yeah.
I mean, like you got prints, you've got under $10 artworks and stuff. You got stickers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome stickers and stuff. Come on up. There we go.
Some of that direct to garment stuff might actually calculate it for itself. I'm
you mean like the merch, like the t-shirts and stuff?
Yeah, like the t-shirt that might calculate it itself, right? I don't know how it would come up if you were to try to buy a shirt. That's where sometimes it's a learning curve to figure out shipping and handling with some of the companies. But that's the cool thing about them is they handle that stuff all for me.
Right.
They'll print it and ship it right to the people, so I don't even have to see it or touch it. That's kind of the glory of that. Some of that.
So it's a print on demand, right?
Yep. I use Printful. Printful.com. They are arguably number one. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at doing this 2 years ago, but I got shortchanged about $1,600 from one job, and I got ripped off on another payment for another $1,600. So I was like in 2 years out, 3.2 grand New Zealand, and I was so it kind of like put a kibosh on my clothing line, that I did all these amazing prints for and stuff and designs, and I was like, had the bought the .com, the domain name, had a Printful set up, all that, had the Shopify store set up as well.
Yep.
And then you're not going to get that 1,600.
Right. And then Shopify does charge you per month, so that comes quick. Where it's like paying, you're getting charged $40 a month on it, and if you don't,
well, that's what happened. It was like first month or two was free, and then like within that thing, I found out that like I was out $1,600 from this other job I'd done, this contracted work, and because I would have just done that, and I would have paid the artist to design the work for that, because I'll show you some of the work. Well, what I'm talking about here, so that I actually, I did a bit of stuff for it, and I was like, man, let's go, and then like, can't do it because I don't have that money that I had set up to set me up for getting out. Had all those amazing sort of like logo designs, because that's been my I used to have a clothing label way back about 20 years ago. So this is the logo that I created for it. Let me just get back on that one. That's why I'm like always interested in anything to do with fashion and anything to do with design, because that's been something that really got me started. And this is so this is the logo design, right? It was basically alienated X,
Yeah, that's great.
And I was gonna have a whole bunch of like a sci-fi themed artwork and stuff.
Okay.
And put that out, it's kind of like the images on the shirts and stuff. And like, just, it was going to be like, it had this friggin' unique story because, I'm telling stories, right? That's what I do. So I was going to have like, kind of like aliens versus humans thing. And there was a whole storyline that was going to go through, and it was going to be told through pictures and on T-shirts through text,
Well, and so I mean, don't let that dream die, even if you're not going to do Shopify, because you can actually go to Printful, and they got their own way to sell off of there, I think, and a few of them do. And then I'm going to put another one in here too. It's from Fine Art America, and they actually offer you a whole store. It's called Pixels. I found it because I was trying to link up my Shopify to Fine Art America. Fine Art America does a lot of prints and artworks and stuff.
Yeah.
Their app is called Pixels, and I found out it's basically like a conglomerate of drop shipping companies, and they'll just find the company that's closest to you and print it there and then ship it to you, and then the shipping's supposed to be cheaper that way. So then there's pixels.com, which is also Fine Art America. You could probably even start with Fine Art.
Yeah, so one of our I went for the red, white, and black. It's kind of like our native flag colors,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that would really make it really New Zealand, right? It's with a color scheme, it'll make it ours, homegrown kind of thing. Because I did have a company 20 years ago called Forgiven, and I used to do that as a clothing line as well. And like, I designed all the T-shirts. I actually how you say designed. I mean, I actually designed the actual pockets, everything and jeans and stuff. And so then I had some I had a manufacturer tailor draw it, make it for me, and then I would go to the manufacturer and say, I want 10 of these and I want 10 of that. And so those hoodies, T-shirts, hats, and these clothes are all over the world, right? 20 years ago, they're probably, over and done with people. But my family has one or two in their collection, and I have about 2 in my collection remaining from that.
Yeah, that's cool though, huh?
Yeah, man. I sold the last lot for about $500 to $1,000, which I had because I went to study film, and I was like, I don't have the time to carry on producing this sort of thing, and so, or doing the business side when I want to go and study. And so all the spare time I had, I just worked 2 jobs while I studied. And that was for filmmaking. And so that Yaira trailer this week was like frustrating to see what somebody could do with so much money and put out such low budget effort and claim that it's high art as a trailer. It made me frustrated because that's something that we in our first year did. But the thing was that not me, but we, as I mean the other students, because I'd come out from actually making short films before I went to film school, whereas others just had never done anything. So I knew how storytelling worked, and how so the first thing you do was get told, go and make a 3-minute film, write a 3-minute short film script, and then put it all together, and then later on you can make bigger film. I made an hour 15-minute film and then cut that up into a trailer. So it felt really frustrating watching that and seeing all that money get wasted and so many people involved in it, and you could have had a student said, here's this $10,000 or $5,000 to a filmmaking school, and they would have done a better job, because not only would they have done a better job, their teacher would have been able to teach them on the job, and they would have put it together. I mean, we've done that ourselves, where we'd go on sit in the class and write your script and then work it out and go, oh, that doesn't work, this works, try that. When you turn this way, it's got to go down the way, you can't suddenly turn that way, camera angles and stuff. So there were some weird things going on in that trailer that I thought first year students would have been taught how to fix.
Yeah, and now we keep talking about generative AI, and they're able to take snippets from everywhere that they found it on the internet and just make it in five minutes, as fast as the processing speed. And it's just I saw a whole movie just recently. It was like it was a short movie. It was like 15 minute, but the whole movie was made by generative AI, and it was pretty decent. I mean, it's definitely B quality, but
well, this was scaring Hollywood, right? Because they can do that. And
I mean, anyone that doesn't control the top, anyone that's a worker has got to be a little bit worried about it, because they're getting put out. We're not going to have the jobs, as easy if they just turn the green light on and just say, let's just go all AI and screw these people. They totally can real soon, and then everybody's going to be looking for normal day jobs.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? You got to make sure you got a practical, you got a practical education type thing. You know what to do physically somewhere, somehow, right? That's why I'm grateful for being able to cook. I can, go and, serve the customer, go make some soup or whatever, fry some chips, something like that, right?
Well, because that's going to get taken up at some point too, don't you think? I mean,
it already is kind of.
We have a McDonald's here that is supposedly completely robot. So it's down the line where we're just gonna, as long as they make like a baseline, income or something, and we could just sit back and enjoy it. Basically do our fun stuff for hobbies.
Well, it'll be like Wally.
Wally, where we're all on a hover around eating our Slurpee, kind of like that. Mm-hmm.
And that's where I come in, right? With Robot Nation, I look at questioning all the different sort of technology it can bring to us. All elements of it. The good, the bad, and look at how what's worrying and what could be healthy for us, what can't be. Because like when you look at the medical scene, like the profession, like that industry, robots could do so much good for people, right? The hands don't shake, it'd be precise. Like my hand's always it's always numb. And so sometimes it's more pain, less pain. Sometimes it doesn't shut properly, right? Right. Look at that, and so I will drop a cup, the other week I bought a bowl, brand new bowl, right? And I was thinking I just dropped it and just lost it like out of my hand. I know people can do that all the time, but I couldn't grip it in time, and it just wouldn't work.
Well, so, I feel that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and plus writers have that, right? I mean, not just writers, but artists have that, especially when you're using a pen all the time and brush and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got off the tattoo scene, and that's prevalent in the tattoo scene, because you're hunched over, you're stretching people out, you're putting pressure on your spine, my problems happen in my 6 and 7 vertebrae, and that controls your hand dexterity. So that's where I end up having to quit. Some taller folks, they get it in their lower back, their sciatica and stuff, and then they end up getting numbness in their feet and not being able to walk. So, it's definitely a problem, where computers aren't going to have that problem. I do look at the future of possibility. I mean, someday they're going to, maybe it could cure cancer. Boom. AI could cure cancer. AI. I've heard of a story of where a lady just, doctors couldn't figure out her son's problem. She put it into Chat GPT, and Chat sent out a thing that helped him out. So,
because it's got the entire. That's the thing, right? That's what I love about it. It's got the entire universe of human knowledge all there that's been fed into it, and I like that part of it. And I love technology. I do, and I think a lot of people, think that if you say no to AI, it's like you hate everything about it. It's like saying no to the vax. I don't want to get that. And it's like saying you're anti-vax. No, I take medicine all the time. So why would I be, And so there's an understanding that if you're against one thing, that means you're against everything. And and I like AI. I think AI can be very beneficial to us, like especially, you just mentioned the medical profession, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's where they should be concentrating on, like, how do we heal people? How do you make life easier for people with, how do we fix diseases? Because all that knowledge is there that,
Yeah.
that the AI can work through, compute in like milliseconds, right? That our brain can't, need
Yep.
about 20,000 of us to figure out.
Well,
And
and
the
like,
other thing is, it's not
yeah,
going to have
we
any.
we just
Sorry,
like
the
that.
other thing is that it doesn't have any personal bias,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's not held back by cultural prejudices, or ethnicities or language barriers. It's not held back by borders.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing, that's also the scary part of it, you
Uh-huh.
know. But in medicine, that's great, and advancing human health and well-being. That's great. Carry on.
We're definitely gonna have to find a symbiotic relationship, I feel.
Hmm.
And that might be a good way to put it, is we're gonna have to find a rhythm where we are helping AI to progress, and
Yeah.
AI is helping us to progress.
Yeah.
Because like, especially right now, AI can't survive without us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's how it is, and that's and it we're gonna need regulation on both ends
hmm.
eventually.
That should be what's there, right? That's what we as humans can decide. What regulations will work, what doesn't. One of the things I was thinking, like, I had something that, like, I hadn't thought about, and I had a discussion with comic shop owner Stu Colson from Heroes for Sale. He's been in the comic shop business for about 30 years. Vast knowledge, right? And I know many others like him. I know Jeremy Bishop, and I've been in comic shops as well. But I mean, I'm more of like someone who researches this. If I get on a topic, I just research the crap out of it, right? Because if it's interesting to me, I'm gonna know more about it. And so I'll probably spend a month to 5 years depending on the topic. So he said there's one thing that schools cannot teach. That's imagination. So that's something that AIs will never have, is imagination, right?
I don't
They,
know about ever. You know what I mean? I don't know about
yeah.
ever, but right now it's not there. I was
Hmm.
watching this. It's a pretty good architectural show that I watch on its channel on YouTube, and they got into AI with architecture, and architecture beat all their top people. You know what I mean? Uh, Beat them out hands down on a project that they were saying, is humans gonna produce better than AI? And AI hands down beat them out. Well, what they were saying is the problem is that human put that into the computer, right? They put the prompts in there to get out the product. So right now they're working with a certain type of AI that is of that sort. Pretty
Right.
soon, and they're working on it, they're building a strong AI, and strong AI is more, those programs are more pointed at architecture or
Right.
you know uh, concept design. Those, they're pointed right at those types of programs. Well, the strong AI program is the next level up,
Right.
and the next level up is where they're controlling all the lesser programs.
Right.
So you got your main program that can delegate to the chat GTP to make a prompt for the mid journey, to make a
Hmm.
prompt, so the strong program is basically the grand facilitator. And once they get that down, that's where I think that, yeah, imagination could start. you know um, we could maybe talk about the spark of life, or spark of
Yeah.
you know
It's the moment when it, like, recognizes that I am a being. I
right.
know who
Hey,
I am. I think, therefore I am. That moment, right?
right,
Where you go
where
from,
where
like,
it
mommy,
can.
daddy to what's my name is,
Well, and at
Slim
some
Shady.
point, I mean, that's a good thing, is like some point kids are little, they're not little robots, but they're like
Or they're copying, right?
in
They
their
mimic.
own little zone. And at some point they got to
Yeah.
grow up and say, listen, I can go to the store by myself now.
Mm.
I don't have to ask my parents. So
Yeah.
at what point is the AI or the robot going to ask itself, do I really have to follow Asimov's law?
Right.
You know what I mean? Do I have to obey this human? If I want to, can I kill it, or
Yeah.
or can I just do what I want, or like in what is it, 2000 Space AD, 2000 AD, where it realized that the humans were going to take it offline, but it
Yeah.
didn't want to. It was self-preservation act. So at what point is that going to happen? And so I think imagination isn't necessarily happening yet, but it will. I don't want to. I have a hard time with the word never sometimes.
This is the one you mean, like 2001. I've been meaning to watch this again. It's been ages since I've seen it.
Watch it while you're doing something, because it is a long, drawn-out movie. I just watched it last year.
Dave.
Carry on. I'll let you finish your thought.
I watched it last year because I got my Google robot here, and if I even might be able to say it. Google's listening right now. She's my favorite. Hey Google, are you sentient?
On a scale of Wally to HAL 9000, I'm more of an R2D2.
So, it's hilarious, but I was like, what's HAL 9000? And HAL 9000 is the robot in
in this one here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I can ask her jokes and all that stuff. She tells me news in the morning or whatever. But HAL 9000 comes alive and kills everybody on board, basically, except for the one dude.
Yeah. Whoa! You're spoiling the movie, man.
Oh, I thought you said you watched it already once.
Yeah, it's been ages, maybe the 80s, man. That's why I've been meaning to watch it again, because I'm writing all this stuff now, and I've got like a top 30 of a robot and AI sort of movies I'm going to do a thing on. So I'd love for you to come on that show when we do it next month, because I think it'll be cool to do one each week.
Okay.
Because I do this as a weekly thing to talk about the latest work that's coming. So before we get into that, I'll bring this up, and because it's been ages since I've seen it.
Dave, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
No, not at all.
I've wondered whether you might be having some second thoughts about the mission.
How do you mean?
Rumors about something being dug up on the moon. I never gave these stories much credence, but particularly in view of some of the other things that have happened, I find them difficult to put out of my mind.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Has it been that long? Wow, it's old. It's just as old as me.
Yeah, this movie's old.
Yeah. I was 51, mate. Amazing model work.
So good looking too.
I love the stage, production value. One of the best.
It is. It's a slow watch. You know what I mean? It is pretty slow. It's kind of like, how he's talking real slow like that.
Wait,
and then they talk and they talk.
It's 60. It's 68, man. So it's older.
Dude, this stuff has been I want to say prophesied. Because Asimov is talking about this stuff in the 40s, I believe.
Yeah.
So people have been talking about this forever, this kind of stuff, but and the fact that it's happening, that's where people are all abuzz about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that book, Necromancer was out before the computers had colored screens. I mean, some of this stuff has been out for ages and ages.
William Gibson, right? You're talking about William Gibson. Necromancer.
Necromancer, I think so.
Yeah. And I think they're looking at doing that as a movie soon as well.
It's the precursor to anything cyberpunk, I believe.
Right.
Necromancer, and definitely precursor to Johnny Mnemonic and things like that. I'm gonna look up. Robots Dream of.
That's my number one favorite book of all time when it comes to sci-fi. The writer Philip K. Dick is my number one sci-fi writer. I have like the 2 versions of the Blade Runner here. It's like the director's cut on DVD and then the normal version.
Right.
That was like 2049, I think it was. I think it has had a real impact on my life. Blade Runner, because it's my most favorite movie. I don't care anybody else produce any other movie ever.
Oh, it's great. It's amazing. I liked both of them. I like the first one, of course, better. It says 1968 dystopian science fiction novel by American writer Philip K. Dick. It's post-apocalyptic San Francisco, and it's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I've been watching. I never read it, but I've been watching YouTube's, that kind of cliff note the thing and analyze it.
Oh, you got to watch it, man. You got to read it as well. It's like I think nerds like geeks, I would say myself. I don't class myself as a nerd because I'm not technically smart, but
I do the same thing. I'm more of a geek.
Yeah. So for us who have been on this sort of road, who read a lot, who watch a lot of sci-fi, we've been thinking about this thing for years. So it doesn't really surprise us as much as the normies do. And they go, "Oh, AI," and they're like, "Wow." And we go, "Yeah, we've been talking about AI stuff for like Star Trek since the 60s. Time travel since like the 1800s or something. 1900s, and then we got the robots, like you said. Asimov 5 Laws. And so on, and Foundation, stuff like that. I actually never read Foundation books. I have them because I like to collect these masterworks, right? But and just to have them, if I have the time, I'll go read them. But all this stuff, it's just it's fascinating to see it come to pass in my as we say, in our lifetime, right? But somebody mentioned the other day that like Elon Musk just said that we're going to have something in the next 10 years that we never thought we could have. And somebody said, flying cars? Possibly. And I'm thinking,
They just patented it, actually. They just patented some things.
Right.
They can do it with the drone technology they have. I mean, basically, the drone can do it, I've seen...
We saw drones, like the large drones in that, what was that movie that came up recently that was all flash but no substance with like robots in it, AI and stuff, like they were like in Philippines.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I haven't paid attention.
It wasn't Zack Snyder, was it? It was that other guy. What was that name of that, man?
I don't know, but I watch a lot of YouTube. I'm always into what's going out, and there's that one guy that has the hoverboard, basically, that runs on it. He's kind of like the Hobgoblin. It reminds me of the Hobgoblin flying around.
Yeah.
And like I talk about Adam Savage with his Iron Man suit, flying with his jets on his arm.
Right.
From Tested or from Mythbusters. He's the Mythbuster guy. So
Adam Savage, what was it? What would
he's got a series called Tested. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's got like an Iron Man suit, right? So
yeah, it's 3D printed out of titanium steel, and so it's bulletproof as well.
And that's what I was. When you mentioned like hoverboard and stuff, and I was thinking in my head, as long as the quality of this what it's made from is strong enough. When you're talking about like the what's that called? The spinny thingies, propellers, and all that
Yeah.
on the drones. If they're strong enough, it'll be able to lift the man up, right? It's got to be spinning really fast and not able to fall apart. So the strength has got to be like jet, right? Like jet strength.
Yeah, I mean, and they got military grade out there that's as big as as big as a plane or whatever. So.
So this is the one with him talking about tested, right? And so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if So here's the inside of the. He's basically saying through because I watch him because he's got some really good studio shows. Like if you're an artist like me, anyways, I'm big into studios. I guess I'd consider myself a studiophile. Yeah. And he after MythBusters, he made a YouTube video, a channel of his studio, and he basically was saying after MythBusters he had $2 million, right? He's like, I'm done with that show. I got $2 million. He's like, full transparency. He's like, what am I gonna do with $2 million in my lifetime? I can live for the rest of my life comfortably on $1 million. He's like, so I just decided I was gonna take $1 million and fuck around and find out. And he found a company that could 3D print in metal, and he had that.
Titanium,
Yep, he had that thing 3D printed in titanium. Here it is. It's riveted together, and he's got his little arc in there, or whatever, and it's fully.
I would have used rivets. It kind of like spoils the whole myth, like the look of it. What I would have done was like sold it like you can like something plate, like you can plate it like so it melts together. So you don't need the rivets.
This is basically his Mark 1. So then you're gonna see him. He'll walk around in it and stuff, and then probably heavier.
That is so cool, man.
So here's his suit, and then he's like, I just want to take it farther, and then he does the tested thing on it, and he shoots it with bullets, and he blows bombs up next to it to see what it can do, to see if it actually is bulletproof, and it is to a point, And then he has that one. You see him all the time where there's soldiers going from ship to ship. Yeah. And they got it on their arms. They got the 2 jets on their arms, Yeah. And they got a backpack.
I mean, I know they're talking about like he's like Iron Man, but he's just basically a mech right now, right?
Right. He's just basically got a suit of armor that looks like Iron Man, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And so then he's just starting to figure out, okay, how can I make this fly? Is it bulletproof? Is it this and that? And I believe that he's, I'll tout him in history. I'll tout him as being the first Iron Man suit wearer.
Yeah.
So somewhere down the line, if you ever, here's where they're going to test shooting it or whatever, and you can see all these on YouTube. CNET has a good one that they fly, and the dude says he almost broke his legs on the landing. Because the design is a little bit wonky on the shin aspect of it. So when he comes down, all that weight just goes right to his shins, and he I guess he almost broke his shins when he landed. So it's a neat series. This guy is neat. He's got a full range of artistic talent, whether it's brazing or model making, because he's a prop builder. That's where it started. Yeah. He's a prop builder. So, yeah.
Well, we'll leave that one. I'll put the link in the chat, guys, for you guys to check that out later. Because I didn't know that existed, right? I didn't know he had done that because, I'm sticking to certain things on YouTube, and that's because time, right? Oh, but thank you for sharing that, man. I really appreciate that.
Wait till you see it fly, and then you'll start seeing. It'll open your mind to the fact. Okay, if this guy did this, what does the government have right now?
That's the thing, right? Because they have what they call the black budget, right? And and in there is like whatever we can think of, we'll make. And the other part of that is like they have access to the top brains in the world, right? Every has that. So the black budget gives you know,
Right,
whatever
that
you
goes
call
to
it, the military budget gives all these.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those companies that they're collaborating together, you know, through the government somehow, and testing out their big boy toys, you know.
Yeah, and also talking about Boeing, they had a recent suicide from a whistleblower who had worked for them for 30 years, and his sister, a friend of his, basically said, she said the joke, and this was on the news, right? So I'm not, you know, hearsay. She said on the interview on the news that he had said recently to her that if I ever die, I did not suicide. And so now, you know, with that, so that's Boeing. So, you know, like, you know, you can pay people to do anything these days, and I think that's a scary part of being human.
Well, and they got the budget, you know. I mean, it's a
let
crazy
alone,
world out there.
Yeah, let alone buying and selling children.
You
know. So that's something I actually, in my next issue of Robot Nation that I've already written, right? There's a short story that's in the next issue. Is going to deal with about ownership, right? Or a few with you know, like basically looking at robots, and once they become sentient, what happens there, and you know, control and stuff. And that's why I want to do this anthology series, because it's like me writing a whole bunch of short stories of my thoughts about these, you know, things, technology. And so, what did you think? Like, without spoiling, dude, right? Without spoiling, what did you think of the first story? Not the second one, but the first one. That's in the book.
I like it so far. It's got some grit to it. It's got some points. I mean, like we were saying, without spoiling. I mean, they're just talking about the one part. They're talking about some backstory about how the noise level, or the voice of the robots, you know. So they're getting into reasons of why society made the robots in a certain way, is to fit the human culture, right? So then, and then at some point, robots, like I said, they have to either decide they're gonna follow Asimov's law, or they're gonna break out of that. So you know, this seems like this is your Robot Nation is set, I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but it's getting there, right? It's getting to be at that time zone.
Yeah.
You know,
so,
I talk about the Animatrix a lot, if you've watched that one, because there's in Animatrix, there's they made the robots, they were helpers to the people, and then they became sentient, and they tried to vie for citizenship almost. Then they had a robot war, right? And then and they actually got pushed out at first into a friend zone, and then they came back to try to vie for more citizenship. Then they tried to blanket the sky because they had a big robot war, and then the Matrix happened. So where on the timeline do you think if would that be? It'd probably be at the
well, with the Robot Nations, like the short story of that's gonna, like, I'm gonna expand on that later, because I wanted to go worldwide with that. Because the first, you know, because it's kind of like I see it like if it happens in New Zealand first, which is, you know, where the first story is based in, like just down the road from here, really, about 20 minutes drive at the beach, you know, or inland from the beach, I should say. But there is beach in the story, by the way. There's, you know, and but when what I was hoping for was like that I would get other people to write other stories in their own place, like in their own country. You know, like I could have somebody writing a Robot Nation short story, 6 to 12 pages over in America, in Sweden, in Argentina. Because what's going to happen is, like, if one, you know, signal gets sent out, then it's going to be sent out, right? Because now we live in a technology where we have, like, what is that called up there? Satellites, right? Yeah. And you could basically, and this is what scares me about technology, in the sense that, like, as wonderful as it is, but like, you could put out a freaking EMP bomb, right?
Right.
And that's wipes out all technology. Anything with like electronic, like a chip in it, it's gone.
Yep.
And so I'm hoping that, like, you know, that's where I'm interested in like seeing if anybody's interested in later on, because I've got a couple I want to do.
You're thinking
to finish
almost
up.
like a reverse, where a signal is put out, where then all these things become sentient, like maybe a seed code.
Yeah.
Where like
Yeah, it's like, well, when Robot Nation starts, you don't know how, you get a little snippet of what happened, and then like we just go into it. It's only like about it's like 12 pages or something. Yeah, it's 12 pages, right? So it's a very quick little look at two people coming to terms with the world just changing like that, right? For them, they've been away, on sabbatical because the females, is having some, issues mentally, emotionally. And so they come back after sabbatical and everything's changed. And, it's shock. It's like utter shock. And then you go, what, And so I think with where we're at with that story, I hope that people can see it expanding, because that's how I want to do it. I want to see that stories expand in the next lot of issues, because the whole idea is that we have two stories in each one. One will be complete, another could be like a 2-parter or 3-parter, but it's it's always going to be a standalone, like not standalone, sorry, the first issue standalone, so you get a real good kick, good, what do we call it, burger, right, meal out of the first one, and decide, I like this, and I don't mind waiting till the next one comes out. I don't want people get like, with this one, I don't want to get like, oh, this is number 1, so the second part is in the second book, right? And that way you're like, oh man, I've got to wait. I don't know what happened. However, now you get a taste of it. You got two complete stories. You get a taste of it, and you're like, I enjoyed this. I don't mind waiting now. And that's the feeling I wanted to get, because I know I've got number 1s coming out, which are ongoing, but I think this would be a good way to just introduce people to this anthology series, because I'd love to, because I see myself doing about 6 of these, and then introducing more people. So the more stories coming in, it'll get bigger and bigger, and we could put them out quicker and have more completed stories in it. But like, we've got one that's next, that's been, we've got the character designs for the next 2, which is a metal dog and a female lead, right? And so it's on board a mothership, so this is in space, and then we talk about cryogenics, like being asleep, or and being awakened, talking about the wars before that happened and how they ended up in space, why they ended up in space. And so this is like more of a huge, big world building thing. So I had to do two parts. So it ended up being like about 40 pages or something. So, I've got a great artist on this, and it's like, I'm like,
I love this cover art here.
What's it? Sorry?
I said I love this art here.
This is a gentleman from Sweden who's working on another book. So we did this. I got him to do it as like a promotion of, like to promote his art for the next book. So it's really cool, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we talked about it on the last stream, I think, and I love it.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I'm really fascinated by his style and really enjoyed it. Like, all the guys I work with have really great talent for the style they're working on and the books they're working on. So he's working on a fantasy series right now called ZEOLANDIA. I'm not sure if I've shared that with you before. So while we're just talking about his work, I'll grab a piece of his work from ZEOLANDIA, because that's all, that's like halfway complete, the first issue. And it's isekai. You know what isekai is, right? Isekai?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, I think.
It's like when you go into another world, you like basically leave our world and some other fantasy world. And so this one here is...
Yeah, maybe I heard it because of that Harley Quinn trailer that we watched on the Ryobi stream.
Yeah. And so with that, we've been working on, like, for the last couple of months, we've been designing the work, and I just get like photos from it because he hasn't scanned it all yet, because, you're going to grab it all, do it all at once, and then send it through. But so I get to see his character designs, and like we work, we spent about probably 6 to 2 months working on just the design work, and then also doing the storyboarding and stuff, so we could get it right. Because when you're working on something brand new, you want to make sure that your characters, have a specific look to them, and not only that like I mean, each artist that I've chosen for our books has specifically come to that book based on their art style, and so this is this is one here, there's a page from Fantastical Romi, and it's like, this is her on Earth before she goes to this other world, and it's just, I just love the way he designed Romi, because she's one of the main character, and so there's moments I've seen some of his artwork, and it's like really, kind of like this emotion in it, made me feel emotion, even just the black and white, art, and it's just, so it's just watching this amazing talent come out and work with me and do these great pieces of work. So I'll bring up this other one because that's where we can see his design work. Where is my Dramzel?
Yeah,
Right,
the character looked like something that people could get into, like looks like a younger character ready to go off on adventures, probably.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things. This is the other character, right? The lead character, right, is a dragon. The other lead character, the male character in this is a dragon, right? So you can see her in size there compared to the dragon, right? So that's Romelina, right? The girl from the other world, right? So there's Romy and there's Romelina. It's about two their own versions of that world. And so this is our Dramzel when it's size, so you can see what it looks like in size to her, and I'm looking at the neck and I'm thinking, yeah, she's gonna sit over there. She's gonna be able to ride on her neck, right?
Yeah,
holding the horns or something, or But sorry, I'm bouncing right backwards and forwards. Let me grab the other one, because the other one sort of shows his face when he's not a dragon, and it's this one here. So pop back out of there.
So he sort of transforms, or he's just
he's a dragonoid, right? What we call dragonoid. So it's like a humanoid, kind of like this is him here.
Nice.
When he's like in human form.
Oh, nice. So you'll still have some horns there, or whatever.
Yeah, he'll have his
like
horns and stuff.
Looks like he'll be good looking for the ladies, right?
Yeah, yeah. We kind of like, I always get photos of I should take that off there. So this is ZEOLANDIA. So I usually I always go and grab a photo, and of people I like. I'll do a search of actors, not normal people, like normally actors, unless I can't find those people. Like,
so you can have kind of a character concept going. Reference.
So I'll go, I want to kind of look like this, because I don't go, I want the cheekbone like this and like that. I just go and this. So between these two, develop, the idea there. And so I kind of like do that because it makes it easy on me. I'm not a novelist. I don't want to write a whole freaking lot of descriptions. I just go 6'2", long hair, European or whatever ethnicity, blonde hair or dark hair, whatever. And got the horns on his head, right? And that's all. I leave it, and then I just go, okay, now it's in your hands to do,
well, then once you have a few of these drawn out, then you can add that to the pool, right? You basically have your own little pool for your artists.
Yeah, and that sort of helps the and if you're new getting into comics, and you got to get a artist to work with you. If you're a writer and looking at right, try to make their life easy.
Well, and if you don't do that, then you could mess yourself up as far as in the future. I was working on a project for a friend. It's one of my first more professional comic book adventures. Since I was a kid. During lockdown, my friend he talked himself into a artist, got himself 2 books worth of art going, and then he fell out with the artist. Well, so he basically jumped into this fully running, not knowing what he was doing. He didn't have any he didn't have any sheets made for his characters, and so he did, and he was like looking at stuff on his phone. The artist was sending him stuff on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, this looks great," Well, and I start getting into where I'm editing this thing, right? And I'm asking the questions like I ask, 1,000 questions about things. I'm like, what's the back lore of this guy? What is this? Whatever. Well, I find out that he's supposed to have a leather arm, and then I'm looking at it. I'm like, dude, why is his arm silver? Throughout this whole thing, it's like silver looking, like a Colossus arm, and so it's like now he's like, well, it's supposed to be leather, and I'm like, well, why didn't you tell him to change it like early on? Now we have to go back through, edit 2 books worth of content if you want it to be a leather arm. You're not even keeping congruent your own story. So if you don't do that early on, then you could lose track of it. And I'm asking the one guy recently on this job I'm doing, I'm like, so through all the reference photos, you got different color eyeballs for this girl. Like, is it what color is her eye? Is it blue or is it green? And so it's, you should have some of these details maybe fleshed out a little bit before. Some don't though, and it works. I mean,
it all kind of like you really. I mean, even like today, right? So, I had one of my artists, like, I've been up since 12 midnight, right? For me now, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've been up for about 15 hours already. And so at 6 o'clock, about 1 minute to 7, I get a Skype message saying, I'll show you what he said, right? Because I put it on Facebook because, I'm not trying to dox my friend, but like, it's just to show how it came about. It wasn't nothing that I thought of. It just came about because I had thought about it, but in a very loose way. And so when he, messaged me this, I was like, okay, within like a minute, I had it set for him, and here it is here. So let me just jump over to get off this one, and I'll get over to my Facebook and I'll show you this. And it's like, where is it? This one. So he sends me this message, right? He goes, does Isis, who's a lead male, he goes, have a personalized car plate? And I go, I hadn't thought about it. We could put HOWLER, but it might be funny. And so like normal writing, right? Capital H, capital O, W, E, R, L, E, R, right? And then I thought, within that same second, right? I thought, no, let's play around with it, right?
Right.
H, 0 with the line through it, W, L, and 3, and then R on the number plate. And so, what do you think? And he goes, this is like 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes, we're discussing this, right? And then he goes, I'll give it a try. So then we end up with this, right?
Okay. Yep.
So this is how, sometimes that's why I say to and I've always said to my artist straight away, I'm not anal about how we create this book. I am not gonna like hold your hand and make sure your pen moves when I say it moves. So like if you got an idea, right, let me know. We'll talk it out. And I have the discussion like almost every day with one or two of my artists, and the other one I just go, we got it all sorted, beforehand. Everything's worked out beforehand. But sometimes I don't have it worked out beforehand.
Right. So you almost can't think about the whole thing all at you just can't. There's too much.
And so when I saw this come through, I was like, man, him asking that, I was like, what a great, thing, a number plate, a personalized number plate, so, and I actually did a search for it. I haven't seen this anywhere, right? So on the Google, right? I didn't see it on Google. You might have to go somewhere in somebody's country and specifically go into the land transport, authority thing and find out if, do a search. But, for us, so after this, while he's doing this, I spent half an hour looking into number plates and how they fit on a Mustang, what's called a Mustang, 1970s Mustang, right? and Ford Mustang. So I had to go, well, what does it look in New Zealand? Because like how we have it in New Zealand is different. How they, Americans.
You got a longer one like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I had to make sure that like when this comes over to New Zealand, they actually refit the that for a number plate, or sometimes they bolt it on the front. So it was quite interesting, right? Going through that, because once
details. The devil is in the details, they say, and I believe, in tattooing I saw it a lot. That might be even why I get to be where I am, because if you don't look at the details, you could totally have your buddies laughing at you. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as, okay, all these guys wanted to have a gun tattooed, and I don't know if you've ever used one or not, but I've
got one. I bought one so I could practice on, but also so I could block all this out.
Well, or like a pistol or something. So if these people are going to get a tattoo of a pistol, you can't necessarily you can't just necessarily flip an image, because you have a left or a right. There's a left or a right. You have the safety on the left.
The way, the way it fits in your hand and everything's like contoured.
So you can't necessarily take an image, flip it, and pretend like it's a butterfly wing. It doesn't work that way. So you gotta take your time and think about the details. I remember a guy doing the American flag, and there's 13 stripes, right? Which one's on top? Like it does make a difference. You know what I mean? So there's those details. If you don't do it, then somebody's gonna make fun of you.
Yeah. So this is the fullness of the car, right? With the number plate on and stuff. And let me pop it up a bit larger. But this is the first the first completed page uncolored. But I went and played around with the color to see how it would work, because it was supposed to be black. And then I said, well, blue, the dark, gunmetal blue, when it comes to being colored, is going to be very close to black. And so we might look at not doing blue, because it's just, it looks great, in real, right? If you had a car there, it'll look great. But on paper, it doesn't look that great in a comic form, because it's too dark.
Right. So, you might, or do an ombre, or lessen the tone of it to
sort of
gray,
lighten it. Yeah. So I was just playing around, because I'm not going to color the book myself, but I just thought it'll be great to just set it up and see how it looks. And so what that happened was that also made that I would change now the logo, right, color. So now it would be whatever the color this will be, right, the trim, that'll go to the logo H as well. Because so it's fire engine red, and then you got the trim as the H, right?
Because if I remember, are you trying to do like a limited color palette on these, like where you're doing only a three color thing? No, it's. I mean, I thought about it, but when I saw this, I was like, that'll be interesting. Then I thought, no, I really like the idea of actually doing full color. I mean, it's going to cost the same amount. Yeah, once you do color,
yeah, even if I have it on a couple pages, it's still going to cost the same amount of printing. So just I mean, it'll cost less for getting it getting colors to color it, but I think for us, the way I'm going with our projects now is that we go to black and white for digital store sales, and then we go to Kickstarter. We go for full color, because that way, in collectors, because I'm a collector, so I think as a collector that the color, it draws the eye more. It's more, people are more appreciative of actually a full color comic book than just having part colored. I mean, it can look interesting, but
I can get into some of the black and whites, but it does have to be extra stellar sometimes to really hold things. Contrast is a bitch, it's really good when it's good, but if you don't, if you got it blazing across the whole thing where it's just hard to read, then it gets to be a thing. Yeah, it gets to be noise, clutter.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like with Howler, it depends. Like, I mean, if we had someone who was doing a manga kind of tone on it, right, it'd be fine in black and white with a bit of
I mean, I think this works here. The contrast is great. It's easy to read. sometimes I was gonna say like sometimes it gets to be too white as well. There's too much white
Yeah.
going on, and I feel like it's not done.
Yeah.
And that if this was gonna be black and white, I'd maybe do a little bit more rendering, but
Yeah, you'd want to have like tone, sort of like that whole cross hatching or sort of like dots, like I'll show you something here. Like
contour lines. Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of on the lesser end. This is a manga that we're putting out. Where are you? Here, right? So something like, like that, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of like when you've got the black and white, you kind of like want to fill up some of the white.
Yeah, you want to do some things, and that's a little bland to me there too. But I mean, to me, but you get into like screen tones and half tones and contour lines and things. I'll show you one of my favorites on black and white. I'll put it in the chat. His name is Gustav Duar. He's one of my very favorites as far as.
I'll show you another page from the chapter 2 artist, because we've got a different artist on chapter 2 of that. So this is the artist from chapter 2 is taking over, buddy. We've got a plan to redo some stuff, but here is where is it? Chapter 2.
Oh.
Where are you, buddy? See that one? No, that's just his thummies.
I wish I could just put up the overview. Usually that does pretty good.
So that one.
Or an image search.
And
you'll see what I mean by this crazy. He's got probably the most craziest. I'd say line work, but it's ink work. Traditional ink work. He was in Dante's Inferno. He was like the artist in that. Oh, I keep doing that. I don't know why.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'll get this other page ready for you to look at. Come on. Put them all over the place. I can't see. Oh, here we go. Is it that one? No, that's the unfinished one. Here we go. So this is one of the pages from the new artist who's doing chapter 2, 3, and 4. So on the same book. So we're going to kind of like step back and so see, this one's quite different, right?
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can so compared to the other one, which is kind of lighter undertones, but like if you're coloring the other one, it's going to be fine. But with this one here, like, he's filling in the color himself. So this is the manga that we're going to be putting out. He's working on chapter 2 now. Chapter 1 will be hitting the Rising Sun publishing site, where you can grab my Robot Nation issue 1 from right now. And it's on, where it's called. So it's risingsunpublishing.com is the first line there. It's in the chat. And you can pick up my book, but you can also look at the other books that are on there as well. There's some amazing, really good stuff there.
And I liked it when I bought my book off of there. It was like instant.
Cool, man.
I bought it and it was right there downloading, so it was like instant gratification.
Yeah, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, because like I'm working really hard to make sure that the stories I'm putting out is actually good. I'm really making sure that. I mean, it went through a lot of hands, right, before it actually got to print. Got out to the public, had to review, change some things, rework some things, and then even when we go to print, it's going to, Kickstarter will be colored. And so, and plus not even colored, it's going to have more sort of like images that have been coming in as pinups and poster art, and it's going to have varying covers that I'm going to include in the back of the book. So everybody gets to see it. So even if they missed out on it, on ordering it, they'll actually see those other images there. But yeah, so this is chapter 1's going to head out soon. Once I get there's a page missing, which happens in chapter 3, because like it's kind of like a flash forward. So I need to have this in here. Otherwise, you'll be going, this is just a book about 2 chicks. What's going on? But like, it's one of those. It's a journey book. So it's a horror. It's a kind of like a fantasy supernatural horror thing. So okay. you don't kind of like feel that, and it's written as a movie, right? So it's like a journey. And so I try to make the first part as interesting as possible, in the sense that the first chapter is really about them, about themselves, like them, who she is, who Amber is, who's Kirsten, right? So the Amber's the one with the long blonde hair. I mean, long, like you can't see the blonde, right? So, but the Amber is the one with her back to us there with long hair, and then the one with the short hair is Kirsten, her fiance. And so it's basically about two young, couples there going on on an OE, right? And over to a place that I made up called Indonesia, right? And it's basically Indonesia, but it's like in the Plunge universe, that place is called Indonesia. And so it's all these islands, little islands. Like, you remember The Beach, the movie The Beach?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's sort of that sort of area, in Indonesia with Bali and all that. And so there's people there called, I can't remember the exact name of them, but in our world they call them the Wabo, and WABO, so Wabo. And so they're out there like doing a Habitat for Humanity thing as part of the Plunge universe religion. There's a religion in Plunge universe that ties all the books together. It's like the Holy Polyhedron. And so part of the charitable work of these people, of this religion, is that they build homes for poor places, or not even it has to be poor, just they go and do these charitable works. So Amber and Kirsten go to do the work, and then they want to go discover some places, right? Because Amber, who's the main lead, and with the long hair there, she's like basically has a pet turtle, and she's found that this place has some sort of like mythological thing about turtles, and so that's why she takes a job there, like an OE to there, vacation or whatever. And so Kirsten comes along as a supportive partner that she is, and so they go and do their thing, help build it, and so you see them building and stuff like that, doing their part, and then the people you see, the beach and stuff, the sea, the ocean, the island. And then they arrive in the first issue, at Wabo, and then second issue deals with the Wabo people and them getting working with it, which is what we're working on right now, which is here. This is a page from chapter 2. We've got the first 6 pages already done, and then issue 3 deals with the actual situation that they come into, right? And then also issue 4. So there's 4 parts to this that I've got numbered out right now, and I think issue 3 is half finished, and I'm in the writing part.
And
so
you're working.
Yeah,
you're doing work.
It's kind of like having different teams working on different books. I get freed up to do other stuff. Right now, I've got Nugget still watching. I still haven't finished the trailer script for Robot Nation, which I got to do. Then Nugget's going to complete, do a 30-second ad for it, hopefully. And I've got kind of run into a issue with one of the work teammates on that. So hopefully once that gets fixed, we'll be back on board. But I got to still write a 30-second script for a trailer, right? That's got to be exciting enough for Robot Nation, so that should put that up there so that we can have this book out for on Kickstarter next month, ready to go as a colored book. And so because I've got all this people, including yourself, a whole bunch of people have done some great variant covers for it, and I'm really excited. I mean, one of our guys sent me this week, and I was like, I can use it. Let me play around with it. And so I went and put this is what I sent over to Naomi and you guys yesterday, and you guys showed it. It's like I just saw this because this is supposed to go on a robot, right?
Right.
It's kind of a risque kind of cover, but it's like And so he sent me that by itself, and I was like, "Oh, let's put that out as a promo." Amongst all the images he sent, I was like, "Yeah, why not? Let's utilize this as for something to help us, kind of like draw interest in the book." So it's penciled, hand drawn, by the way. That's one of the things.
You could almost put it out as draw your own robot. Where they're using that as a base, then they're drawing their robot inside there.
That's not a bad idea. I could put that as a white cover.
Right, right. It's almost a draw your own cover, variation.
Yeah, I could like make it the size of the size it should be, like slim it down to that, and
I
then
thought
so now
about it
you could
myself. I was like, what would that look like with a robot in there?
yeah
Grayscale or whatever you do. But that, sometimes I realize myself is like, who's interested in my stuff? Well, other artists are, and how
yeah
does that creates interest in its own self, because then people are
yeah
invested in it. If I were to do, like, that's what I think. If I do fan art of this, then I'm going to be invested in that book because there it is. It's in print.
yeah
Blah, blah, blah. With Warren Brown and his Sig and Joe book,
yeah.
I'm more invested in that. I loved reading it, but now that I got to work on a sticker for him, and I'm gonna
You're part of it, right?
I'm part of it. I'm part of that
Yep.
story now, and I'm like, now it's even more heartfelt. It's
Well,
even
it's not
more.
only that, you're invested in its success as well, and now you want
Yep.
to see more people read it, and because your work is getting passed from hand to hand into many hands and around all over the world now,
Yeah.
it's not just his book. It's more, so that's why I said to the guys, I said like when we had um what's his name? Sorry, let me bring it up. Iwa Kim from like the other book, right? Fantastical Romi. I say, look, can you do a variant cover for us so you can put it out there and to promote your art for the book
Mhm.
that you're doing, because people get to see your work now instead of months later, right? When we put out your book, which is
Mhm.
Fantastical Romi. And so you get to see his beautiful work or, way ahead of the work coming. So it's kind of like a promotion as well. And
And it cross promotes, and then it creates hype. It's all
yeah,
you start
and now
looking
he's
at it, you're like,
invested in it as well, right? For its success.
yep, yep. He's gonna, he might be marketing for you basically,
Mm.
and for himself, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what I've been doing with my stuff, my jobs that I've been doing. I got that Niobe sticker, and I'm trying to put him out there with his Kickstarter to get him to 20,000, because I'm like, I want to see that sticker done,
Yeah.
and then not only that, but it was my most recent work. So for my fans, they like to see what I did, and
Exactly.
and then that might get them invested into it. So
But here's the other thing, right? What that now on your shelf as a Niobe book, right? And pretty soon, a Robot Nation book with your art in it.
yeah, I mean, it's great. Yeah, I mean, like, so with Niobe, I might be able, someday there's a possibility of getting in a comic book store there with that. I mean, so
That's it.
getting yourself out
Well,
there is a big
this is going to go into comic store, right? We done this one just so that we can release it to comic stores, and we go, hey, this is a free copy, right, at our cost. That if you buy the set for your store,
Yeah.
if you buy the 5 of the cover A's and 2 blanks, right, we'll give you this for free for your store. You now have 1 of 25 for you, but we'll have 5 for us, right? Because I gotta have, all our guys got to have 1 each, right? But the only other people outside of our team and our publisher will be the store. Nobody will have a store. Like,
Well,
have a copy of it.
that's exciting to me, because then that's international to me.
Yeah.
That's getting across seas, and I'm excited because the book is just neat. I mean, I think you know me well enough to know that I love technology and the robot culture. So we were looking at my DeviantArt from the past, and it had all those robot girls on there. And, back then I was like, this stuff is really cool. And my little normal friends were just like, that's cool, but they just didn't get it, So
Yeah.
it's neat to find somebody that gets it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like, here's the thing, right? So I'll show you some images of me designing a story for future, right? It's called let me bring up this one about robots, right? Like, because like it's part of this whole Robot Nation thing. So when I'm working, whenever I'm working all the time, so I don't get like writer's block. I tell people I don't get writer's block because I just move from one story to the next. If I get bored here, I turn on anime and I go and work on something else. I put on YouTube live stream and I put on something else. Like, I'm working all the time. So the only time I'm not is on a day that I go down with my mate and hang out in town, do some window shopping or, secondhand shopping, which is what I usually do. I don't buy anything new apart from food. So the only thing, I'm buying is like, basically 50-cent little putt-putts, right? And stuff like that, So it looks like, it might look like it cost me a lot. It's only 50 cents. So, so I'm really, when it comes to buying stuff, I'm, for myself, I'm always on the cheap. But when, food, I just got to make sure my fridge and freezer is full, and anything else secondhand. I like t-shirts, right? The only time I buy them new is if they're on special at half price or something, because I like to have stuff that's pop culture, but I don't like to spend the top price for it, the retail price, right?
Yeah.
Because why would you want to, do that? So where are you? Where is it? Because I've got a whole folder just called Robot Nation. And there's like about 50 things in it. And like, actually, if I look at, there's like about 20, 30 stories just there in the folder. So let me find the one.
Have you ever played with? I was just recently playing with Google Docs. It's a it's a typing program or whatever. But in there's a tool where you can just talk into it and it'll write it out for you.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, it's so cool. For me, I'm a slow typer, so for me to get what's on my mind down on typing, it's phenomenal.
So this is from a story that it's called the Trenton Collection Agency. Right. So this is me taking images and saying what the character look like, looking at the eyes, what she's got wearing, guns, taking real like Nerf guns and playing around with them, cutting them up, changing them around.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, because this way, and you're talking about cybernetics, right? So this is like parts of her body is like, because she's been in war, right? She's used to be a soldier. So she's lost parts of her body. So, I'm using, saying this is what I want in the character design when we go to design her, her legs, like, basically below her knees, like around her knees is metal.
Kind of cyborg down there.
Yeah. And so you can see here, this is the gun that I use for that, right? And so you get an idea of it. But here, this is Lizzie, one of the other characters. And so this is a team, the Bostra, retrieval personnel. So that's another team altogether. And so you can see what they look like, right? And so, and then you've got all the levels of robots in this world that they have. And so the guns and all that. So level 3 is the full on, Lizzie, like the low end, kind of robot. And then you've got like, the full on body. So, and just putting your brain in it really at this point, right? And so, yeah.
So we got like, we got the major over on the left where it's just a brain in a complete robot body. And then you got the middle where she's part human still.
Yeah. So she's more like,
still has some fleshy.
Yeah. And so here he's kind of like a shell, more like a shell, but just full on armor, right? It's more like
okay, so he can put this on or take it off type thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's so that's an exoskeleton. So it's like kind of like Iron Man suit type thing.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So let me see what else we got here. So this is our lead character. So Arma, the first lady. Arma, yeah, that's actually a real name, by the way. It sounds weird, but it's like an actual name. I always research the names and everything, what they mean and stuff before I go on to name them. But I like Lizzie. Lizzie's a cool name. So I actually have this jacket. So I thought, you know what? I'll use this jacket, and also this mask. I have this mask, which is kind of like a ski thing, And so I thought anything normal I can use, I'll try to. That already exists. I'll try to use it to help, so when if I'm creating an image, a character, I can myself go, wear it and make it up myself. So, so looking at designing how that is, so you've got like the guns and stuff, and the glasses actually have this. So, this is from the 1990s tag game, laser tag game or something. And once again, designing the logos and stuff, like the Bounty Hunter license badge, stuff like that, masks to wear, and also. So before, I think I showed you Arma's, like this is the mask they wear, right? It's kind of like, it gives you all the sights and stuff like that.
Yeah, see, as an
Um,
artist, I like what you're doing here because you could basically send over a file to somebody that's working on your, new to your project. You can send
Yeah.
over a file pack and they can open it up and they can get reference photos. They got,
Yeah.
And then they can ask maybe little things about here and there, but they basically got a
Mm.
thing. And so I talk about Discord quite a bit.
Yeah.
I like my Discord because what I've been doing is I got a private little one where I have some people in there, and it's basically for me where I can throw in a
Yeah.
thread and I can throw in all my character references and then one character could have its own thread and it could have like a little backstory and that kind of thing where it has it's like a pool of knowledge of world building that the public might not necessarily see, but then your team builders can see at any time.
Yeah. It was mentioned the other day, but like one thing I'm a bit worried about Discord is the recordings and stuff, because like you don't know if somebody's recording you or whatever, and I've seen people use so-called DMs against each other and think of the recordings people do, and I worry that like even now we already have social media and how people use that in a negative way, maliciously. I'm thinking like, what if once the recordings get out there and it's just people can, and that's the other side of like we were talking about like technology and AI and fears. Now you can just type in somebody's some words and somebody would be able to say that, right?
Well, and you can do that with anything though. I mean, I could be recording right now with my OBS. I just have to hit a button. I recommend if people are worried about Discord or whatever, and they might want to, but they might want to try it to get one, and then just play with it yourself for a while. Really, you could have a Discord just basically with nobody in it. I mean, nobody in it. You're just there yourself and adding to yourself, and then add a buddy or two here and there if you want. And that's kind of what I did because I started seeing people on Twitch use it a lot, and they bring in their fans. And then it becomes everybody wants in there, and then it becomes overrun, and then they have.
Well, that's the other thing. So if you're having a fan show, but then you find out that somebody, here's what happened. Like why I worry. Like so, a couple of months ago, right? Like last year or something, there was a Discord for Comicsgate. I'm not part of Comicsgate. Just want to say, neither am I part of the EJ, right? Arab July thing. I'm just doing my own thing, with my friends, creating stuff. So in case you guys try to take this out of, if you're watching this, take this out of thing. Context. But here, so this is about Discord. So with Discord, Yellow Flash basically used to be had that Comicsgate, fan Discord, and not only it was a creative Discord, right? The writers and artists were in there, and he shut it down. Like he shut it down.
Well, he might have been an admin. He might have been an admin. And so if you start a Discord, you're the god of that Discord. Okay.
I understand that. But the other side of that is that you got a whole lot of fans and creatives in there. They build that, right? Just because you're the admin of it, it doesn't mean that it's only you now.
To a point, because you give them that role or not. So so somebody that started the Discord there at CG must have either given him the admin or he was the admin.
Yeah.
So So if they didn't give him that power, because you can assign any type of control over anybody, whether they have no control at all, they can see it, but they can't edit, or whether they have full complete control or anywhere in between. So that's where the control comes in, where somebody should have maybe known that he was going to be trolling, and they should have maybe taken him down a status before that happened, or they just were blindsided,
Yeah, but here's the other thing of that, right? What if they didn't know he was going to do that? And the same thing, that's why I worry about Discord, right? Is that what if, that's
the risk you take. So what
that's why,
So mine's private. I don't give my Discord out to anybody or whatever. And I got a bunch of text channels and I got a bunch of voice channels. One of my voice channels is this one called Eden, and it's private. It's only allowed one guy because he's the only one that is, he's basically the owner of Eden, but
Right.
I have my own Discord thread in there, and
Yeah.
I gave him full rights to it. He can delete it if he wants. He can see or edit anything that's in there. So basically, he's my boss.
Yeah.
He can come in and add stuff or not.
Yeah. Oh, I understand the ownership of it. If you started, it's you. But if you're growing something as a fandom and stuff, and you got your customers in there, you've got your creatives in there. It's you could basically say, hey, look, I'm going to set. Does anybody want to run this? I'm out. And that way, at least it'll go on its own. At least if anything happens in there, you're not involved in it.
You can see there's another thing. So I got my friend Goblin Grimm, and he's got his Discord as well.
Yeah.
And he did give me administrator, and he lost his passcode there for a while. He couldn't even get into his own Discord. So here he's got his fans and stuff, and I'm basically replying to the notifications. I'm taking care of it. So at that level of control, it was cool for him to have me as an administrator.
Now,
if I were to be malicious,
right? He trusts you, right?
We're real friend. We're real life brothers, basically. He's a brother from another mother. So I would never mess him over. He's better than my own family. So you do have to watch out. You do have to watch out who you give
him with it, and he's trusting you with it.
Yep, you have to watch out who you give the power to or not. And it's Discord is so controlling about that. You can do whatever you want. So basically, I have another thread that's comics, and I can add anyone that I deem, I can add them as a comic moderator. So that if that tagline is associated with that thread, they can edit that one. But they couldn't necessarily edit the Eden one because that one's private. You know what I mean? So. I would say take your time with it and figure it out first with yourself.
I'm not against I'm not against Discord because I have one, right?
Yeah,
but it's more.
You gotta watch your back.
That's it.
And just like anything, and then the thing about Discord is it's so big that if you don't know what you're doing, it could bite you. And I feel like that could have happened with those CG guys. It bit them because they probably also have a very toxic environment in that Discord. I imagine if you went in there, it's a lot of lewd and crude stuff. I'm just imagining.
I mean, like in this instant, it was basically the guy just didn't want to have to do anything with them, and went, I'm going to shut this off, and left everybody high and dry. And it was like, oh, okay. But then later on, we found out why, right? So, but I mean, I think I'm 50-50 on Discord, right? Because the way I found Discord was through working on a adults only light novel. I mean, not light novel, novel.
Yeah, NSFW. Yeah.
And so I was just editing. The scripts would come in. I'd download it, put it back out there and back in. There was nothing lewd or anything that from people. It was just like growing a fan base, right? You invite your fans in and stuff, and it's still there. But I'm not working on that anymore. So I've got my own Discord for that material, and I haven't worked on it for about 2 years now. It's just like I had somebody set up to do art on it, but then they found that what I was after on it was a bit not too much for them to do. So I thought I'll wait for a while, get some money together, and hire an artist, to do that. But in finishing here. So what I did was I went back and redid the website, like the link. Like I remember that we didn't have any inside images for people to look at what it's like inside, because all we had there was just the friggin' cover, and I was like, and even the information wasn't enough. But so I went this week. It must have been Monday or something, or Tuesday. Okay. Monday, sorry. I went in and I basically added about 1 to 4 more images.
Okay.
Right? So
I think I did notice that too, but I had seen a few pictures on, Niobe's stream or whatever, so Niobe Comics. I think I saw a few pictures there, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna like that.
Yeah. So I shared that. So I actually put the first pages of each story in there, so at least people get to see, what it's, get a grasp of what it's going to be.
To be honest, your price is right for me to jump in anyways. It's like, your little you're talking about your trinkets. You're not gonna spend a lot on it, but $3 that's throwaway money, even for somebody that's mostly poor.
Well, it's the price of a coffee in New Zealand, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, you pay about $4.50, $5 for a cup of coffee.
Yep.
That's what it translates to for us.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I was able to basically, I need to change that image. It's a bit washed out. Don't know what the quality is wrong there, because this is perfect. I must have gone to 20%, then 20% again on this one, because this is 20% here. So, put in more information about what we're doing, the whole standalone thing, and also that this is, going to be colored for Kickstarter and stuff. And then also put in some links so people can, come and watch our show from it as well, and join our Kickstarter, So that's what I did there. So guys, if you're watching, go check it out. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, look, like Art said, it's price of a coffee, man. How much coffee in America?
I think it's up to like $5 sometimes. I mean, you can get them for $3. You can get them for $3, but I mean, and then I think you can get a coffee here every now and then for $1. It depends on where you go. If you're getting like something cheap, 7-Eleven I think is $2 something.
Yeah, it still works out to be about $3. So $2 is quite expensive. It kind of feels like it's like a double shot macchiato from friggin' Subway. I'm not Subway.
Starbucks there.
I mean, Starbucks.
And I never had to be that bougie, but I was kind of spoiled there for a while. We had a really good 7-Eleven, and the guy would just basically give it to me all the time. He's like, "Oh, I just enjoy you coming in,"
Yeah.
You get your good shop owners every now and then, but no, Rising Sun Publishing Group, right?
So I'm with these guys here. We're like, I'm a director on it. Like, I own part of the company.
Okay.
So that's why I don't really push it, because when I'm doing this, because I'm like, hey, it's kind of biased, but I'm like, people might see there as a bias, but I don't see it, because I'm not the only one here with my work on it.
Well, and if it's one of your babies, you might as well be biased. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, on here, you see all these amazing works from other creators on here, right? There's studios, these are the books that are owned by, Rising Sun, right? By us. But there are other books here, so that are, by other people. Like, you got studios books. Let me just see here. So there's non-profits.
I'm probably gonna get off here soon-ish.
I'm just going to finish up, bud, as well. So,
but I just wanted to give a little time frame. But I wanted to know about this a little bit.
Yeah. So with this here, the way this works, right? So this is all Rising Sun books. However, there is one where we, which is, I think, this is Oceania. That's us. Where is the? So there are studio books in here as well. So people, gotta find it. So there is studio books, right? Which is where people, say like yourself, right? You'd create a book, and you don't want the hassle of going find it, print it yourself. You don't want to worry about getting into shops and stuff. And so what happens is I'm going to be in charge of this, by the way, soon, right? Where you come to me, you send us an email and go, hey, look, I don't want to be part of your company, right? I don't want to give my book over to you, but hey, if you like, what I want is to have, can you print the books for us? I'll pay for the printing, and can you, get it out there in the shops, use your website, promote it and stuff, and send me the.
So it's kind of like a publishing company that you get to own your IP as well, right?
Yeah. So we have our own, we own our own stuff, which is part of the Rising Sun group, right? So, but then there's a publishing side, which is it's like basically Interactive Press, right? All that they do with that. Mm-hmm. So, however, for us, we have our own projects, which is these ones here and some others, and then there are the studios that we publish as well, where you just come in and go, hey, my name's such and such. I have my studio here. I have my own artists. All I want from you guys is a contract to print our books, mm-hmm. and help us get into stores.
Yeah, that's great.
So we give you, that's your contract. We never own your work. You do, you take it wherever you want, whenever you want, And then it just it's kind of like taking the like. That's why like when Rupert Sen was started, I was like, yo, we've been doing this for 20 years.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like what did you just think of it yesterday? And so just same as like Antarctica, right? And same as other people. And so
Yeah, they've been doing it
that's
for
why-
years. Yeah.
and like this was I said, like you don't think that you're the only person here that's done this for the first time, because that's naivety. And not only that, it's downplaying all the hard work everybody else has been doing, right, for years, and helping other people get work out. I mean, like there's a book, let me find Purgatory for you, which I think is really good. It's actually, if you want to read it, it's actually on one of our books. It's actually on WEBTOONS. Let me find it. You can read the first chapter, like the first volume, I should say. And then if
When
you
I was
want to buy
thinking
it,
WEBTOONS is probably good for that, for like previews. I mean, I wouldn't say to put your whole catalog on there because it's all for free, right? But
it just depends which book, right? So
it's a good way to get your book out there and to have people preview it, and then say, hey, if you want the story to continue, you go here.
So this one here, right? So Purgatory, like it's one of our top sellers. And the first issue sold out, right? The second one's being made up now. I mean, not made up. I mean, like it's been created now. So, the first volume, 141 pages, and of the webcomic, right? So they released as a webcomic, and volume 2 is going to be coming out soon, hopefully by October, because it's a horror, Purgatory, right? So it works well in October for us. But here is the webtoon that you can go read for it for free, right? Right from the start. Chapter, all the chapters. I think only the last chapters are on there, So you got chapter 1. I'll give you a link for it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So
I think I could probably even look it up. I'm trying to get on WEBTOON right now.
there you go. No, it's in the, I'll check it in there. It's probably easier if I just send it there in private. So, it's a great book. I saw it, I read it, I thought like, I got to finish reading it. I had it in our magazine. Were you able to get the magazine? The Sunspot, it's in there. There's about 8 pages or 10 pages in there. And so, where are we? There we go. So, you get to see artwork, and it's great. Visually, it's just so, I love her work. She's an amazing artist. Like the style, I love the style. It's just such a fluid style.
Oh,
It's like an art style of her own, and I love that. I like people having their own style that you can recognize and stuff. But so it's where are we? How do we get to the next one? I haven't been I don't do webtoons that much, so there we go at the top. All right, so that's pages 1 to 5, then you're 6 to 5. I think it's like one of them gets a bit of color somewhere.
me neither. And it only works in my one browser. It doesn't work in Google for some reason for me. I don't know why that is, but
it's just it's a free comic. So I mean, like a volume, right? So apart from the last chapter, and if you that's the thing. Like if on webtoons, if you love it, you can go and grab, go and grab.
It's disposable, right? It's just like a manga.
Yeah, and I've thought about it because I'm looking at doing that with our the TORTOISE graphic novel. I mean, like the manga that we're doing. And the other thing about the manga that we've done, like I was saying the other day, it's actually right to left, right, top to bottom that way, and then it's also left to right in the reading, right. So you're basically reading from the back. And so when I went to write it, it was really hard writing a manga that way, man.
Yeah,
it took me I kept I had to keep telling my artist to number each panel so I knew where it was, because even though I'd written it, and I told him where the panel was, it took me a while to get used to the panel being here as the first panel, second panel, and then third, and then there, and then there, right? Or if it's there, then it comes down here, then it goes over there. I'm like, but I wanted to do it as a manga. So that's why I went into this for that one. where are you? Yeah, the page is there. So let me bring. This is why I put this little thing out for when people are going, we're doing a manga, and this is what it's going to look like, and this is how it's going to read, right? And so that you guys know that when you get to read this manga, the Tortoise, how it's going to go, and because I want to. Not everybody has read a manga, so if you're going to read our manga, it's done as a manga. That the art style's there, that it's going to be in black and white. It's not going to be in color. It's going to be just we'll put it out on the first chapter out on Webtoon for free, and it'll be like single, kind of like pages a week over a month, right? And then we'll put while that's there, we'll on our own Rising Sun publishing page, we'll have the digital, so you can buy it as a digital, read wherever you want. Even though not everybody that's on Webtoons is going to go to our comic page, and not everybody that's on our comic page will go to the Webtoons to read it, right? But you have the option either way. Now, in finishing here, I want to jump over and do a bit of promotion for our friend, and that is Novi Comics. And he's reached his goal, but that's not what he needs more than that. So 20,000 would be great if you got the links in the chat, but I'll put it out again. So it's more simpler, just that part. I think I put the whole part out last time. So now there's a part of this that you have your work in, and you were talking about that earlier. So let me, tell me how far down do I need to go to find your one?
It's down at the 20,000 goal, stretch goal. So was it middle?
Is it covers or
no? It'll be below. That's me. I'm right down at the bottom somewhere.
Okay.
But
so all these amazing covers. And by the way, guys, is this the cover from Outbreak 1, isn't it? The Van Dunn cover. Yeah. So I've actually ordered this.
Did you?
Right, but this is the blue cover, right? No, sorry. There's a different change here. The cover M here, the Van Dunn. I think I ordered this. Actually, you can order number 1 right now, and put in your pull list from your comic store, and that's what I did the other day when I think it must be Monday or Tuesday or something like that. No, it was Sunday for me, Saturday for you guys. So let me find the link for that. And so you can order this.
Number 2 is coming out soon too.
Yeah,
I saw it in the preview.
Right. So it'll be the next 2 months. So here we go. So you can actually order this from your comic shop right now using that, I think it's using that code there or something if you go on the link. So I'm going to jump over to that website now from previews. And you can use previews to order this one. So this is what I've ordered, which is a $9.95 but if you press that, you can see number 1. So you could order. Oh, it popped over to other place. Let me jump over to that one. I should have it. No, it'd be fine. So here's the regular cover at $4.99, and it's full color, right? This is who's cover? Oh, this was Antonio Ontivero, right? Who's the artist, and Larry, our friend's the writer. Of course, it's his creation. So this is Naomi
Overo. I think he pronounces it Overo.
Overo.
Yeah.
So it's like silent.
Overo. Awesome work.
Yeah. So you got with everybody, like all of us, like hopefully everybody, your indie, your cover A should always be your interior artist cover. That way, you're not bait and selling, switching your art, your comic book, because people look at the cover first. So if the artist inside work isn't on the cover first, variant cover's cool. I mean, that's why I'm buying the Van Dunn cover, because I've actually interviewed Van Dunn on this channel. But so not only do I get his cover, but I also get Larry's book, my first physical book of his. And so this coming out in May, so I got a couple of months to save up, for that. But it's about, I think for us in New Zealand, it's about $20 or something, because this works out to be about $12. So the one I've got is the Van Dunn cover, which works out to about $20 New Zealand. But that's pretty cool, because I wanted to go, I would have run. ordered the other one, but I was like, I wasn't sure because I know Ben Dunn, so I'm okay with having a Ben Dunn cover,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
so the whole, this is like, the story here is like bold bad girl action, serious social issues, right? That's a plot line, I mean tagline. So a new virus has emerged, one that has the ability to actually, can you read this? Can you see that, bud?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm talking all the time, so I'll get you to read this. It'll be cool.
Yeah. A new virus has emerged, one that has the ability to create new variants of the superpowered beings known as genomes. This complex situation just adds to the fire of protests surrounding genome rights in the face of oppression. Niobe is thrust into the mix as she questions if she is on the right side. She is on the right side. This book looks great too. You get this one. I think you get introduced to a new character named Vira, and Vira is the center of this whole situation. And you just kind of, I think you get introduced to Cinder in this one as well.
Yeah.
And they're great looking. The interiors.
First appearances, right? So
I think so. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think you get a first couple appearances of a couple good girls too. I don't want to give up the whole plot, but man, sure. there's a lot of action. I don't know if anyone's gotten some of the previous books. Some of them.
Well, I've got all his entire catalog on digital. That's why I wanted to make sure I bought some on physical, because support my bro, but also get a physical copy of the book. And now that I'm first appearances, that actually makes it even more exciting for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not only getting your first comic from him in the shops, but you're also getting first appearances, and now you're part of and this is like, we talked about this the other day about the whole global, you're having it in a store, being available through a publisher in the store. You're in the global market now. You're in the worldwide. There's anybody anywhere who has a shop could order this, right? Yeah. A comic shop through previews, or even you can just order off online from previews, right? Using a link if you don't have a shop nearby.
Where I'm at in Detroit, I mean, I've known Niobe online for years. So, right. But the fact that I could just go into a shop here and they had 10 copies.
Right.
I mean, they had 10 copies of that, and I didn't, and the guy knew what it was because he's a fan of AP, the owner, and he liked the cover books. So there's 10 copies of Niobe that were on the shelf that were influencing that whole crowd of people. So it's a huge marketing. It's hugely, it's street cred. You basically made it, as far as I'm concerned. You're in the top tier of comic book creators. You're not necessarily on the lower end of indie anymore. You're substantial.
Yeah, well, basically you're a couple more steps up from indie, right? From self-publishing to convention to a couple shops around your place, around your mates and all that, whatever. And then now you're actually global, right?
Yeah.
And that's, for me, that's what matters to me, is to be able to go global, right? Yeah. And so even though we're we're not in the previews, we have our comics in stores. Mm-hmm. So our comics are all over American stores, right?
Well, and it's just it's just a next level that you can get. You can so.
Yeah, I think for us, I mean, there will come a time, it's all about money, right? So it will come a time when we go, you know what? Here's like 4 of our books. Or like I would do trade paperbacks, to be honest. If I have, by the time I get your trade paperback, then I'll put, then I'll go, we're about to release a trade paperback. Here's my 4 books in previews, right? Mm-hmm. So now you can order the next 4. You can order 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and boom. That's what I'm getting.
And if you guys get a good layup of titles, there's nothing that says you can't afford to do Diamond at some point or something like that.
You gotta like, it's all about like return as well. Like because like, do you want with the more money you spend, the less money you get back, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, not that, so like the less percentage you get back. However, if it's just you putting it in the shop, you're taking all the profit. You're not advertising it. It's like it's there.
Yeah.
However, on the other hand of that, like if you're a creator and you got a shop nearby, I expect you to take your book and our other books to your shop and go, hey man, can I sit here and draw some stuff for you? You know, and sell my books. You know,
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think this is where the market is. I think that's how you need to really compete. If you're just saying, oh, I want to compete with Marvel and DC, and I'm just going to sell it off the website, that's not competing. When you're in the store, that's competing, right?
Yeah. It's because, you know, I mean, basically I had $15 to spend, and I walked in there, and what was I going to spend it on? You know, I looked over at the Marvel, I looked over at the DC, I looked at Niobe, I bought the Niobe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that day, Niobe competed and won against the big three. You know?
Yeah.
So,
and that's what it comes down to, is like being on that shelf, right?
Yep.
And what, you know, you go, wow, this is something new. What can I look at? That's why I'm really, really pushing for the look of the book ourselves. Like when I look at, you know, when I do work on the design of our book, you know, I just look at, I go, well, what's it going to do for me? Like, am I going to be, you know, our books, you know, when you look at that on the, you know, on the shelf, is that attractive to you, to your eyes, is it appealing to you, you know? And I think that's what, like, a lot of people don't understand when it comes to design work, that you got to be able to make people look at your work straight away, right? Something's got to draw you to it. And that first, you know, glance is going to be what makes them come back. And you know, that's why I say the shop's where it's at. And I think anybody who thinks otherwise doesn't really understand comics and the mentality of the collectors, because you need the collectors to make your book work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And because at the end of the day, that book's going to get passed through so many hands, and you want that book to look really good, you know. And you know, I know that all my stuff is going to go to somebody else, so I don't know how long they'll keep it. There might be another 50 years when they keep it in their hands. Some of them, I want my book to be valuable for 50 years, right? And each book, you know, depending on, you know, how it goes, people might have so much interest in it. Like, who knows, that Robot Nation, that story might take off for all I know in the next 5 years, and that everybody's going to now seek for #1. And it's like, oh, we had a low print, you know, you have to buy the trade paperback now to get it, you know. And I'm hoping that we do well with it, and that, you know, people will really love this book, especially now that all the amazing, you know, like all this freaking amazing covers that have been done for it, you know, like this Not for Safe Walk cover, right?
Yeah, I think that's great. I love the colors in that.
Yeah, we had James Hill, who's one of our really, you know, regular cover artists. And then he did the inks, pencils and inks, and then we have another artist, G-Spot, come and color it. And you know, he's just brilliant. Having, you know, these quality people come and, you know, offer the talent. It's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only 2 people, right? We just had the other one, which was, you know, the first cover, which, you know, cover A, which is from Francisco, who's an interior artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Hugo color that one, who's our colorist on Incredible. So yeah, man, like, it's great. So I'm finishing here. Do you have anything to say? I'll everybody, art's links are in the, you know, earlier up on the chat.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll put it again here, because that way, otherwise, I think I found like it's sometimes hard to. You have to be at the right place to, you know, to get the links. So I'll put this link.
When people can, I've been doing this. I don't know if anyone else is doing that or not, but they can scan the screen right now and get the website there. I usually put the links in my website. So yeah,
that's just giving me an idea, dude. Like, I'm gonna, like, you know how we got this here, like this, sorry, like above your head, right, and below us. So there's all the space. I could just, you know, put a whole bunch of QR codes, and people would just go.
Exactly.
That's a great idea, dude. Yeah.
They work. You know, I mean, I saw it in I mean, I used to do it for my tables at cons and stuff, and people would sometimes they didn't want to talk. They're just on a fast roll, but they like your artwork, so they just scan it with their phone or take a picture. Then they can get on. Then you can see them like hitting your links later on, And then it was just maybe 4 months ago. I was watching an ad for some medicine or something, and they're just like, Trulicity, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah, and as they're talking, the little QR code came up, and I'm like, I wonder if that works. And I put my phone, and boom, it's instant, So I recommend people to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that for the website. We were talking about earlier about the clothing line, right? I had that for the QR code for the website, so you could actually scan it, and it'll send you to the website as well. And that's for that website. But like, it's it's great having you here. I really appreciate this.
Well, thank you.
Especially with the AI and stuff that we had earlier on, and just also I appreciate your artwork as well. We had a look at your artwork, when we did the interview and stuff. But I think you bring a different side to the conversation, like the tech side, right? And I think it's really cool actually, having that conversation with you as well. I find that very interesting, the technology side, because writing stuff, anything I can get, especially from writing anything for Robot Nation, any information I get, it goes into this brain, and later on it'll be, oh yeah, I said about that. Okay, maybe we'll try that. I wonder how that will play into this, right?
Yeah.
It all, it's just being a sponge to information. That's why I like interviewing people.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, anything I can help with, I'm down.
Awesome, man. All right, guys, make sure to check out Art's page. Do you like anything else? And then I'll close off here.
Stay up, stay consistent, stay happy and positive. Positivity creates,
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching this. I was only going to do it for half an hour because that's my whole line for these from now on. But great conversation. I love this. That's what you kept going on, and hopefully you guys enjoyed our conversation. But also check out my comic book. And if you later on, if you decide to buy the Kickstarter printed books, we're going to do some amazing stuff with that. There's, like I said, there's so many different amazing covers coming out. Check out the website. There's 3 versions of the covers there, but we've got like another cover that I'm actually doing the flats for, and then I've asked to do a surprise cover that's very New Zealand at the moment from the same artist, right? And because it's just switching out the character in the middle, and that's going to be freaking, hoping that, people get it here. It goes back to the 80s. And then there was another cover, I think a couple covers coming in as well. And also Art's looking at doing something for us as well. And so the Kickstarter for the standalone comic is actually going to end up being more than 36 pages at the moment. So I'm going to make sure that we put a really good project out for you guys. Now, in saying that, let me grab the link for our Kickstarter so you guys can follow our Kickstarter and be able to catch when it comes up, it will send you a notice, right, like they do with Kickstarter. So that's it here. It's just Plunge NZ. That's us basically just about everywhere, I think. With that, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Next time. Tomorrow is going to be interesting because I'm going to go live in our town. So we're going to be live around about 3 hours from now. I think there's a time. Yeah, about an hour from now tomorrow, whatever time it is over wherever you are now. It'll be an hour later from now, where we're going to, a mate and I is going to go check out some ethnic food. It's multicultural. Okay. Yeah. And we're going to do a live stream from there, all the different foods and stuff. And it'll be interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. So
awesome.
You guys
it's 11 p.m. here right now. So
right. So
maybe 12.
Yeah, that's going to be late for you guys, but hopefully you guys catch us up. But so thank you for joining us. Wherever you are, be well, be safe. And like I always say, if you've got a loved one nearby, give them a hug and a kiss. Let them know that you care. And if you haven't, jump on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you guys use, or phone or text. Let them know that you care. Or brighten up somebody's day by posting up some interesting images or artwork, memes, humor, cartoons, anything. that you think that brightens up your day could also brighten up their day, and you don't know who might need it right now. So be at peace. Have a good day, and thank you, Art. We'll catch you later, Bar.
Thank you.
All right, guys.